Hi there and welcome back to Dragonfall. I'm Byron and we are done with the Kesselhaus and should return to our safe house. Hey, thanks for the assist. Can't tell you how happy I am to leave this place behind. Happy to help. It must have been terrible to be stuck in here. Well, it was no picnic, I can tell you that much. Say, you wouldn't happen to need an overhauled decker, would you? 'Cause I suddenly find myself unemployed. As it happens, we could use a decker, yes. Excellent, fantastic. I promise you, you won't regret it. Blitz has joined our team. Now what? Back to the Kreuzbazaar. Your team makes its way back to the nearest U-Bahn station. 20 minutes later you're on a return trip to the Kreuzbazaar, leaving the filth of Drogenkippe far behind. But the image of Green Winter's twisted corpse continues to linger in your mind. You lift one of the discs that you pulled from Winter's safe to the light. Reflection stands off of its surface. With luck you'll soon have the answers that you've been looking for. We shall see. Now what? Discuss your findings with Amsel. So we get karma, is that correct? 12 karma. Anya, I wonder what you're gonna do with this. You will increase your... Apparently you have all that, okay. So that goes to 4. That doesn't do shit, right? We just get the next one here. So increase it to 5. And leave it at that. Oh, do you have anything new to say? Hello again, meine Freunde. What can I do for you? Nothing. Wait, are you accepting donations? Yes, of course. We're actually desperate for them, truth be told. People seem more intent on taking care of themselves than they are in providing for the less fortunate. Of course, these concepts are not unrelated. As poverty rates increase, so does the crime rate. Assisting the needy increases the quality of life for all. In any event, our shelter has some basic needs that desperately need to be filled. The walls of the shelter are not insulated and new blankets would go a long way toward keeping our guests healthy and comfortable. Ideally, we'd like to purchase some space heaters as well. With 250 million we could make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Give him 250. Samuel's eyes widen. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, meine Freundin. No big deal, Sam. Do good with it. With this donation, we have reached our first goal. Kickstarter goal. Thank you so much for your kind assistance. I will put your contribution to work stocking the shelter with blankets and heaters. Not a problem. Please, do not downplay your contribution. You have shown kindness at a time when few others will. That means something. It means a great deal. Okay. I assume I have enough money. Yeah, 2.6. I still have 2.6. That's good. And we probably have some stuff that we can sell because we picked up quite a lot of things. So let's check the telephone. I'm really curious whether this will amount to something. It probably will. Nah, but not now. Whatever. You probably want me to return to the hideout. Yes. And maybe we buy some stuff then. We shall see. Some items. Maybe better armor. Better armor is always nice to have. Here it is. Reine Neugier. Import shop. I wonder what it's importing. I'm really curious. That was a pun, I'm sorry. I really like the whole German language thing. I don't know whether you enjoy this as much as I do. Probably not, but anyways, let's talk to the dog. You look down to see a pair of bright eyes set into a scruffy face looking back up at you. Dante, Monica's old dog. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. On some instinctive level, he must know that his master's gone. We all had to. We pet him. Oof. Amos's expression is harder than you've seen it before. When he speaks, his voice is grim. Aiga has told me of Green Winter's death. She said that he died in the same manner that Monica did. It wasn't a pretty sight. Amsel nods gravely. I know that you and Aiga have had your differences. I will tell you that she was badly shaken by the sight of Winter's body. She also mentioned that you found something in Winter's safe, a package full of very old discs. May I see them? Of course. Good, good. Gingerly, Amsel lifts the disc from the bundle and holds it up to the light. Slowly, he begins to turn it in his hand, causing rainbow patterns to shimmer across its surface. I haven't seen one of these since I was a boy. I just saw one yesterday. This is a DVD-RW, a data storage medium from the mid-2000s. I'm amazed that Winter was able to find a device that could play it. Do you know how we can read these things? It's probably garbage, because the reflective thingy on the DVD probably doesn't reflect light anymore properly, and therefore the information is lost. You can't keep information stored on DVDs for all eternity. He puts down the DVD in his hands and quickly inspects the others. The first disc that I looked at might be readable. The others are damaged, some severely so. I have my doubts about them. For now, let's concentrate on the undamaged disc. There's a little shop outside the Data Haven. Talk to the proprietor, Mallet Holway. She might be able to help. Tell her to put the cost of the device on my account. Okay, I'm on it. So, let's talk to our crew members. Hey boss, Dietrich gives you a slight nod. What can I do for you? How are you holding up? You seem to take Monica's death harder than the others did. Dietrich shakes his head, a wistful expression on his face. Nah, not harder, but I'm less buttoned up than the others are. Aiga'll never let herself show any weakness and glory. Well, she's too full of chrome to feel much of anything. He shrugs. Me, I don't give a damn. I've spent too much of my life putting on a show for others already. What do you mean by that? So that's the thing I like about Dragonfall more than about the Dead Man's Switch, that you can interact with your party members. Even when you can't do it on a Shadowrun, at least you can do it in the base. That's nice. I used to front a punk band way back then. Believe it or not, I've spent a pretty good chunk of my life on stage. Whenever we weren't playing, I was living up to our fans' expectations. Spouting off, getting into fights, getting drunk, getting late. Not a bad life, all things considered. What was the band called? Maybe I've heard of it. Oh, I doubt it, boss. We never really got any airplane. Since when did airplay have anything to do with good music? Fair point, boss. Alright, I'll tell you. The band was called Messerkampf. That's knife fight. Spelled just like it sounds, in big capital letters with an exclamation point. We weren't a big act or anything. We sold a few records here and there and toured around Europe. Same story you'll hear from a bunch of other washed up old relics, I'm sure. We had a decent following in England, and we holed up in London from 31 to 36. Spent most of our time slumming it around the East End and picked up enough Cockney to irritate the folks back at home. He shakes his head. Truth be told, that whole chapter of my life is a bit of a blur. We didn't do it for the fans or for the fame, and we sure as shit didn't care about the money. All that mattered to us was staying young and drunk and angry. He takes a moment to examine his gnarled hands, a sad smile on his face. We managed the second two. Good God, where has the time gone? Dietrich shakes himself from his reverie and looks back at you. That familiar easy grin returns to his face. Well, anyway, boss. Everything ends eventually, and I washed my hands of all this years ago, so let's change the subject if you don't mind. Wait a second, you can sing? He regards you with a critical eye. I was the frontman for a punk band, but fuck no, I can't sing. He grins. But I wasn't half bad at riling up a crowd. How did you go from fronting a band to running the shadows? Wasn't as big a leap as you'd think. I already had a healthy disrespect for authority, and I had the magic to back it up. One nice thing about shamanism, as long as you keep your idol happy, it doesn't matter what else you do. The Dragon Slayer chose me to be his servant, and as long as I was scrapping with someone bigger than me, he didn't much care whether I did it on stage or in the shadows. The Dragon Slayer? What kind of idol is that? Tell me about the Dragon Slayer. He shrugs. Not much to tell. He chose me when I was just a kid. I could always feel him in my heart, goading me to laugh louder, hit harder and get rowdier than the rest. Of course my family didn't understand, but the hell with them, I thought. I knew that I was destined for greater things. So I listened to him, and I cracked the skulls of a lot of bad people. He saw this and was pleased and rewarded me with magic. And I used that magic to crack bigger, thicker skulls, and so on. It's a simple life, but a good one. Any thoughts about the last one that you'd like to share? Well, we found Winters, that's something, I guess. This whole thing has me feeling uneasy, boss, but at least we have a direction to look in. So long, Dietrich. He nods at you. Take it easy, boss. Okay, let's... Whoops, what was that? Let's take a look at our thingies here. So I have, jazz. All that jazz. Nobody needs that. More cram. Trauma kits are nothing to sneeze at. Just put everything in here and then take what you actually need. So, of course I'll take the trauma kits. And we have an advanced medkit and a basic medkit. All that grenades, I'm not fond of grenades. Never was, never will be. And that's it. Okay, we can sell the grenades, we can sell the nitro, and I'm gonna keep the drone repair kit just in case we stumble across a rigger. And I'm gonna sell all the drugs. Because, yeah, just say no. Hi, Iger. Iger turns to face you. There's a pained look on her face. Look, I owe you an apology. I'm listening. When Monica died, I was pissed. That probably doesn't come as a huge surprise, but I took the anger out on you and I shouldn't have. Seeing Winter's body like that was enough to convince me. You couldn't have done anything to help Monica, and I couldn't have either. You're dealing with something new. Monica was a good friend of mine. Her death hurt. I got carried away and I said some things I shouldn't have. I want to apologize for that. Her body relaxes, she begins to turn away. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But there are a few things I want to say. She stops, turns back to face you. You can see the weariness behind her eyes. Go ahead, nobody's stopping you. I accept your apology, but if you ever insult me in front of the team again, you're going to regret it. That's a promise. She nods appreciatively. Some backbone, that's good to see. Don't worry, Anya. I won't question your competence again. Not in front of the others at least. But I won't lie, I still have concerns about you. What kind of concerns? Basic ones. I don't want to see history repeat itself. Make up your mind, Ige. Just said you don't blame me for Monica's death. I don't, but that's not the history I was talking about. She turns away. You should go, fearless leader. I've got prep work to do for our next run. And you've got more important things to do than watch me pack my gear. Wait, what was that all about? Okay. Maybe some other time then. Anya, what do you need? Hey Glory, how you holding up? Don't worry about me, I'm solid. We already had that. Okay, let's push the matter a little. Sure, I understand, but I still need to talk to you. Glory lets out a very sigh. Ask your question, but do it quickly. I have things to do. You can't have started running the shadows with much more than 5 years ago top. So what's with the vintage chrome? It was cheap, it gets the job done. She shrugs, end of discussion. I don't think so. I've known a lot of street Sams in my time, but I've never met anyone who'd voluntarily installed cyberware that old. You're right. There's more to it than I'm letting on, but I'm not interested in talking about it. Okay? I can't help but notice that you seem guarded, withdrawn. That's my problem, none of your concern. If whatever happened to you has impaired your ability to trust me, then it is my concern. Come on, Glory, talk to me. Trust is earned and I don't know you yet. Maybe later, when we get to know one another better, we can talk. For now, I'd appreciate it if you dropped it. Okay, we drop it. I guess we will find it out eventually. Let's check out the internet. Any new messages? 1 unread messages. Commissioning your services. From somebody who doesn't want to reveal his identity to Anya Juliette Laval. We would like to arrange a meeting between you and one of our representatives. You will find him at the cafe nearby. His name is Luca Dur. Dur? You will find him expecting you. Come alone. I'll come packing. Apparently there's still nothing. Still nothing. Hey, claim payment for sold pay data. Okay, we sold the delivery schedule. And we get 495. That's not really much. Apparently I have nothing. Okay, new threats. Where to find elves? In front of this terminal for once. Is there any elf club or bars in the downtown area? I really want to meet one. They're just so beautiful. Maybe we can go dancing. Do elves like dancing? There's one on Torstraße. Bring a bouquet of roses. Elves love romantic. Tolstoy has humor. The elf clubs I know of are members only due to creepy groupies like you. Not really appealing when a guy is only after them for the shape of their ears. Well, ask Vulcans about it. Every 7 years they go crazy. Client screwed me. Banner's a fraud. I broke my first rule. Always get full payment up front. Left me hanging for 50% of the cash after I completed the job. I'm sure he'll have changed his name by the time this posting goes up. Male elf, brown hair, golden eyes. Look to be in his mid-30s. Be careful who you work for out there. Pro shot. Never thought I'd see you admit to a mistake on here. Thanks for the heads up. I'll keep my eyes open. Will forward any info I come across if you're still looking to collect from the guy. Sent you some surveillance footage. Is this your man? Sure, nice one. Sure is, nice one. I'll split the take with you if this lead pans out. Good to find there's still some honor among runners. Uh-huh. Interesting. Well, there won't be any new personal videos. That would be a strange one, actually. Although I guess I'd still like it. No, in a strange way. Even if she came back to haunt us, at least she would be back. So I guess we cannot use this exit here. Probably not. So we'll have to use this one. Talk to Malit about playing back a DVD. But I have a DVD player here, if you but I live in the past and probably in a parallel reality, so that won't help you that much. So we have like what? 3,100. Who sold the armor? I wonder. Welcome back. What can I do for you? Oh yeah, the broken drone. I acquired this drone. Can you get it up and running again? Yeah, probably. Might take a bit of doing though. I love working on these old corp drones. Can't make you any guarantees, but either way it's on the house. I'll leave it in your hands. I'll start on it right now. See you later. Hold on for a second. We're not done yet. Got that drone fixed yet? I'm impatient. These things, they take time. I'm making progress though. Give me a little more. Yeah, it was like 30 seconds. Okay. I'm looking for something that can play back a DVD RW. Really? That is old tag. In fact, very old. How about VHS? Just a moment, I will go look. That would be dead after all those years too. Magnetized. She turns to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her stall. Ah yes, here we are. The dwarf wrestles a mid-sized flat-screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know, vintage. The player itself though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There is a scavenger there, a primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone here in Kreuzbazar can help you find your DVD player, he can. But he will most certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. She takes a deep breath and smiles up at you. But you are not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I could give you the display for, say, 200 million? Oh, yeah. Paul Amsel is paying. Ah, very well. I will have it packaged up and delivered to Herr Amsel straight away. Best of luck finding a DVD reader. I wish you well. So, where's the fucking junkyard? Probably somewhere in this direction. Do you have anything to say, Elaine? I understand they put you in charge of Monica's outfit. It looks like we're both carrying heavy burdens. Ha! I suppose so. We'll see what gives out first. Your will or my plastic knees? You need something for me? How are people handling the loss of Monica? I think most are still in shock, but just you wait, that'll pass and then the panic sets in. Few folks of any real discipline around here. Monica kept them calm by keeping them safe. Now that she's gone, they're gonna start realizing what a heap of misery this blasted city can be. You don't seem to be worried though. Already died once. Every day since is just a bonus. A tired, painful bonus. Really doesn't matter that much to me, but to the rest, it's going to be a different story. Monica kept this place in one piece. She read the flux like a bird reads the wind or a fish reads the current. Without her, there's no telling what's going to happen. Anything else you want to draw about? I'd like to hear a little more about you. Let me guess, you want to know how I lost the legs? If you're offering. Ha! Might as well hear it from me than one of the addle-brained kids running about. Lost the legs during the first Euro War, if you must know. I'm in a bombing. You need something else from me? Nope, didn't mean to bother you. Hey, dog. We pet him. So who was selling the armor again? Was it a weapon guy? Simi? Oh no, you're... Oh no, no, you're not the junkyard. I know you. Maybe by face if not by name. I'm Anya Juliette Laval. By face, by name, by cry or by song. Simi Kim is what most people call me. They think I don't know why, but I do, Monica explained. How do you feel about Monica's death? Kim hugs her arms close to her body, sad. She never got to have a family. She'll never get married, never be a mother. Seems she was a mother to the whole Kreuzbazaar. Kim nods her head almost dumbly, her eyes unfocused on the ground. Monica said a mother is always a mother. Always. She hugs herself tighter and stares blankly at the ground. Did you lose a kid or something? So what have you been up to? The girl absently fingers the chip jack in her temple. I wanted to escape with the children and the captain. We had to get away from the soldiers out of Austria. But it was wrong, all wrong. I was taking them over the mountains, but it was the wrong way. I know it was. It would have taken us straight into Germany, not Switzerland. We should have taken a train, gone to Italy. There we would have been safe. I didn't want it to end badly, so I turned it off. Zach sold me something new. In it I feel strong. I had a son, and he's destined to save the world. I have to protect him because the machines have come back to kill him before he can become a man. That's Terminator, my girl. I won't let that happen because in there I'm strong. Though Kim's words are bold, her trembling voice and body betray someone aching for a fix. I'll catch up with you another time. So, well. What was that? Was that the magic shop? No, the cyber clinic. We want cyberware right now? Probably don't have enough money for that shit yet. Maybe I wouldn't if I wouldn't give all away to charity. Oh, auto injector. I found this schematic. Think you can hook me up with this chrome? What does an auto injector do? Well, I don't know. Very nice. This design appears to be simple enough. Yes, I should be able to provide you with this. It won't be cheap though. Okay, what was that? Cyberware? What did I give you? What does that do? When triggered, accuracy is increased by 6% and incoming damage is increased. Incoming damage is increased by 3 for 3 rounds of combat. That's stupid. Why would I increase incoming damage? Really is a double-edged blade. Oh well. Oh, apparently it's somewhere down here. I wasn't here the last time. Schrotti! Yeah, that means, I don't know. Schrott is old metal that can't be used, but like to be melted again. Oh, I know your picture. You were in the thingy in the Dead Man's Witch as well. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech. Sorry. He's tinkering with to squint at you through thick old-fashioned glasses. You don't seem to wear glasses. He pushes them up with an old stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Guten Tag, what can I do for ya? Majid tells me you're the man to speak to about DVDs. That little shrew sent you my way, huh? Scotty's smiles broadens. Will wonder never cease. Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Schrotti Buchmann at your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged? Some old components vielleicht? That's perhaps in German. I'm indeed your man. Wonderful. How about that DVD player? Well, let's see. I think I've got something that'll work for ya. Schrotti rummages with 3M through the junk heaped on the table behind him. After a few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge-shaped... What is that? Lozenge shape from the pile. Ah, here we go. An old Korean player that I took up last week. 2010 model, a real beauty. Shorty's smile broadens and he gives you a conspirational wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read, I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Shorty glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I admit I'm a little loath to part with her. There are plenty of folks out there who'd really appreciate an old player like this. And I don't know what your intentions are for it. I suppose, given the time and trouble I took putting her back together, I'd be willing to part with her for, oh say... Shorty's eyes start over your gear, a calculated expression on his face, 500 million. Hey, I could bully him. I've got a better idea. How about you give me the DVD player and we call it even? Shorty's eyes narrow and you can see a scowl boiling up from under his mustache. Alright, fine, I see how it is. He slowly... The DVD player... He slowly takes the DVD player from the table and thrusts it into your chest. Take it if you must, but I won't forget what you've done here today, and you shouldn't either. You should leave. Pleasure doing business with you. Well, normally I wouldn't have bullied him, but then again, $500 for a DVD player, he was clearly overcharging. And I guess he deserved to, well, have the thing taken for him. It was just. That really was. Just if he would have made a decent offer, then I would have paid, but come on, really. And it's so seldom that I get to use strength. That was the mage guy, is that correct? Ah, she has work to do. I have a question for you if you don't mind. Oh, no. Apparently I don't have a question for you. $500. Oh man. Where was the what's that? That's the cafe? Oh yeah, I was supposed to meet somebody at the cafe. Luca there. Luca is a man? I thought that was a woman's name. Hello, Sir Anya Juliette Laval, eh? Good. You look the part. Let me get right to business. My organization would like to pay you handsomely to take care of some business for us. All you have to do is continue your work and we will be in touch periodically to ask you to complete very simple tasks. How do you know so much about me? My organization knows everything worth knowing in Germany, including this small pond that is Berlin. It is in our best interest, however, to remain unknown. This much is all that I will tell you. Why not? Let's see. Good. Don't worry, I'll be in touch. When I contact you with a new task, you can still take it or leave it. That's what I was assuming. If you take it, return here and I'll pay you a fair sum for your service. If you leave it, my organization will be quite unhappy. I would advise compliance, but there's always some margin for extenuating circumstances. Well, you could try to do something about it if I say no, and we shall see how that develops. I have information regarding that matter my people were looking into, Effendim. The one involving the surveillance device on my data tab. Altuk, I have been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Are you growing the beans out back? The coffee vendor shouts. Can't you see that I'm speaking to an honored guest, you tower of quivering corpulence? His voice lowers again. Now then, as I was saying, we were fortunate that you happened upon the surveillance tab when you did. The people on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. Very bad thing? Quite bad, yes. Monika Schäfer was an important member of this community, more than most were aware of. This Keats was under her protection. You know how it is in the Flux, Effendim. The governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know who is going to be in charge from one day to the next. But Monika was a stabilizing force, and not just because she was dangerous. She was smart and funny and wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. When she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plan. But they did not. We saw to it, you and I. What happened to them? They have been reasoned with. Let us simply say the matter is settled and leave it at that. The Kreuzbazaar will maintain its stability a while longer thanks to us. Now what can I do for you, Effendim? Would you like some coffee perhaps? I'm just killing time, I'll be going now. Kami. She tips an invisible head. Hey there, remember me from the cafe? Name's Kami. Are you looking for something? Well, who are you for one thing? I'm Altuk's ears and hands outside the cafe. Call me Kami. I wear a couple hats. A barista, a gopher. Keep my eyes and ears open. Let's just say I get on by trading stories. So I can count on you to hear what's going on? Like I said, only if you've got something juicy for me or if Altuk wants me to tell you something, but that's rare. I may be his ears and hands, but he's got enough of a voice all by himself. He doesn't seem to be afraid to use it either. Not in the slightest. Since you've just moved here, I have some advice. If you haven't already guessed, he's got fingers in a lot of pies. I've seen what happens when he doesn't approve of someone or something. Pissing me off can't be worth it. And at the very least, you won't be able to get good coffee in this town again. She grins cheekily. What's the story between you and Altuk? She grins and winks lavishly at you. Oh, surely you've guessed. The lucky bastard. She coughs loudly. You wish! If you're really curious though, I'll tell you about it sometime. Right now, though, I have some errands to run. Come over sometime and we can chat over hookah or something, yeah? She lazily tips an invisible head at you before turning her focus to a comb at her wrist. So, where was that Zigeuner guy? That gypsy guy that sold weapons. I would like to see him again. Oh, here he is. I have cash and I need weapons. Show me the goods. Okay, 650. Yeah, I can afford it. Want it. What does it look like? Well, I guess it's okay. Hold on, there was more stuff that I could sell. Ah, shit. Let's sell. I don't need that. Can keep that and that. $307. Not really much, but who cares? Do you have anything better gun-wise than my AK? We have a Ruger here. Ooh, that's expensive as fuck. If we buy the Smart Link version, then we would need a data jack. But 16. We only do 10 damage. 16 would be better, right? But that would set me back like 175 or something like that. Yeah. Plus the smart link. The data jack. Let's see what the data jack costs. No, that's too expensive. I need more money. Simple as that. Maybe after the next run. Hey Paul. It seems that Amsel has assembled a team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had my lead deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Anya Juliette Laval, have you procured a DVD reader? I have it right here. Good, this should only take a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The disc should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Anya went through a lot of trouble of fetching everything. Let her do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. Now what? Where is it? Oh, there. A soft whir of sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. A scratched LCD display comes to life and a menu fills the screen. Play track 1. The screen goes black and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments the display goes live and a disheveled looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The time stamp on the screen is 2034-09-15. So the 15th September of 2034. Adrian Vauclair, isn't he the guy who defeated Feuerschwinger? Hermie, I think I found her. All this time, after all this time, Feuerschwinger. I knew that she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I've always said. I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulsing of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the socks to retrieve her. The radiation be damned. We'll take appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think that the body may be nearly as well. Maybe nearby as well. Somehow, if she has survived for all this time. The screen explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprising, you'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the socks. But I do know one thing, if the Firewing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. Okay, play track 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp is 25th of December 2053. Hey, Christmas! I found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best as I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer, my brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm gonna start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time, but I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm gonna want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years! All this time and still no leads, even with all my contacts and my resources. He takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Wanna hear something funny? The closest thing I've gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the socks a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but get this. He leans into the camera and gives a conspiratory wink. Supposedly they vanished without a trace. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor considering I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Abruptly, Winter leans forward and reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. Let's play track 3. There's a grinding sound from the DVD tray and Green Winter's image appears on the screen. There's an eager look on his face. The timestamp is the 12th of what? November? No, October 2054. Stumbled upon this archival footage of Feuerschwinger's original attack. Months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being on the screen. The timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date, July the 6th, 2012. Hey, that's in the past already. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicles flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you just joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Feuerschwinger launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy Harz mountain town. And you can see the results behind me. Fire, ashes and blood. We're joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing right behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking your time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experiences of the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew, roasted alive, or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. You made it through the attack though. Your wife, you all made it through the attack though. Your wife, your kids. Yeah, we all made it, thanks God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter, me, my wife and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the high heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, you know, when the air cooled down, the reporter nods, and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage, and this dense cloud of black oily smoke. And the stench in the air, God, that smell. It smelled like roasted meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue to speak. Eventually he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, or what's left of it, had slumped against the shelter door. I keep telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but it isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her. Not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it in here. You heard it here. An absolute chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the fire wing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Feuerschwinger's reign of terror. Green Winter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now. So I'm gonna do some digging on Feuerschwinger instead. Let's see where this goes. Okay, track 4. The DVD player ramps up to speed, filling the air with okay. Green Winter's image appears on the screen. Timestamp on the video reads the 31st of what? October 2054. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Feuerschwinger either. He shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information is there, it's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy and this feels just a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting that tingly feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures, can't be too careful. Play track 5. The display goes blank for a moment and the face of Green Winters winks onto the screen. He's seated at a computer. Off to the left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. His voice carries an edge of panic. The timestamp on the video records the 9th of November 2054. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies and there have been disappearances. Clockwork, Marcian, Peregrine, they've all disappeared within the past few hours. Clockwork just went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making the same sorts of inquiries about Firewing that I have been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff. I'm starting to think that's true. Blitz leans in to whisper to you. I know the whole story is talking about Chief. Never really put much stock into them until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment, as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist onto the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Iger cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a killer team that might be related to all of this. A kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a Decker named Hellebore, how do you pronounce that? Posted a theory about Feuerschwinger on the Shadowrun BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in meat space and cooked her entire apartment with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellebore Live posted the event. She described a killer, hit this great big orc with skin grafts. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap? Igerlov? Sounds like he's right on track to me. Yeah, we've met this orc. Geiger holds his silence, but concedes the point with a small nod. On screen, Winter pauses. He looks like he's working up something. Finally he speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This has gotta be Feuerschwinger. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive and she's out of the socks. Whatever the socks may be. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I have a solid goddamn lead. I've backtracked all of the Matrix notes that Hellebore was looking into back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that. And I found that she turned up. Winter stabs a few keys on his keyboard, and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of rural landscape annotated with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging. The Harfeld Manor. Conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And that is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor to Winter's left. Monica. I think I'm gonna type Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about flux state security and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Ams's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelette and all that. Until then. Okay, track 6. As you play the 6th track, a small window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You are looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room at the Kesselhaus. The timestamp of the video reads the 10th of November 2054. There's a blur of motion and the haggard form of Green Winter slumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winter reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later it returns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up, slow down, start from the beginning. Winter closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got to call my contact in the Kreuzbazaar. Schäfer killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schäfer's skill and experience, on-site ice must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money, real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to Firewing is too strong. So let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here. And the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got all my contacts, still got my connections, and the flux state can be a hell of a weapon for a man who knows how to manipulate it. Winter takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Decker or no, I've gotta jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasure that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for 20 minutes. For the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Apparently not. Winter drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later he heard a dull, chattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F-state. But still, all things considered, Winter fishes for something off-screen. A moment later his hand reappears clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head and the screen cuts to static. Eject the DVD. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess that they've caught up to me. They'll be after you too now. Wow. I'm actually getting goosebumps now. Blitz whispers into your ear, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? We didn't know. Not exactly. Not exactly? I didn't come here to get haunted by a dragon. I'm not even part of this. Well, now you are. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering her. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother, because if Feuerschwing is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. If you've seen what happens to people, that get too close to this. I am dead, and dozens of others have died. You'll be next, unless you can find Adrian. The screen cuts back to static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. Well, that was a thing. The room goes quiet as everyone struggles to process what you've just seen on DVD. Finally, Dietrich breaks the silence. A dragon. Son of a bitch. Green Winter sent us up against the dragon. The Firewing. Amsel's voice is thick with dread. She lives. I'm really starting to regret the fact that I didn't just stay at the hotel. Iger ignores him. Wait a second, we don't know for certain. Dietrich lays a hand on Iger's shoulder. The evidence seems pretty convincing to me, love. I'll even take it a step further. I think that secret facility that we stumbled into was her lair. The room falls silent. Iger and Glory exchange glances. After a moment, Dietrich continues. Just think about it. The tracker that Winters got those coordinates from was posting about Feuerschwinge. Then she was killed by the same orcish bastard that attacked us after Monica died. That's a direct link between the dragon, the scarred orc, and the Harfield Manor. And then Winters was killed by the same thing that killed Monica. Exactly. My guts tell me that the dragon is down there. Anya Gillette Laval, someplace far beneath the surface. I think that we knocked on the door to her lair without even knowing it. I think that, given what we've seen, the dragon will do whatever it takes to keep us quiet about it. Okay. Going on the assumption that there is a dragon and that she will come after us, what do you propose that we do about it? I'd say we take a break, but shit, can't do it now. I highly doubt that we are strong enough to kill a dragon right now. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to follow Winter's advice. We're going to find Vauclair. Yes, Anya is right. Finding Dr. Vauclair should be our priority. If we're going up against a dragon, we need to find ourselves a dragon slayer. Wait, isn't your... Where's my shaman? Isn't your idol the dragon slayer? Can you just do it? Winter spent 20 years searching for Vauclair and it got him nowhere. How do you propose that we find him? With the help of an information broker. I'll go talk to Altuk then. For this? No. While Herr Burgazzi is very capable, a task of this magnitude is beyond him. We may need to make contact with the premier information broker in Berlin. We need to talk to Alice. Blitz scoffs at Amsel. Alice? Best of luck. I hope that you're rich. Amsel raises an eyebrow. For this? Rich enough, even if only just. Who's this Alice? Who the fuck is Alice? Sorry. A most prominent figure in Berlin's shadow community, ex-Schockwellenreiter. She provides information retrieval for the F-state. Amsel turns to the computer console behind him and runs his finger over a virtual keyboard. The machine begins to hum. If Winter was right, if Vauclair is still alive, she can help us find him. The console spits out a stick of black plastic. Amsel plucks it from the computer and hands it to you. Here, your key to speak with Alice. A cred stick? Amsel nods. An encoded cred stick, yes, 10,000 nuyen. Alice will not show her face for less. This represents the last of my personal savings, Anya. Make this meeting count. Where do I need to go? Take the U-Bahn to Altstadt Spandau. Yeah, that's another part of Berlin. You will find a connecting tube that the locals refer to as the rabbit hole. You will find a method of contacting Alice there. Don't call it that in front of her though. Word of the street is that she hates it. Please hurry. While you're out, I will work on acquiring new contracts for the team. Alice is the best there is at what she does, and her services carry a price tag to match. Wow. And the game was saved. That is amazing. So we will take a break here and continue in the next video. So thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Bye.